Hello, hello, and welcome to the Devil's Office. I've been expecting you. Actually, no, I haven't been expecting you. Actually, I haven't been expecting anyone in a long while. But I guess here I am. Man, I have forgotten how difficult it was to put yourself in the mindset of actually streaming. It's been over a year since I last streamed. Damn. So, what have I been doing all this time? Where have I been? What the hell is going on? Actually, do you like my new office? It's uh, it's decent, better than nothing actually. And the model. This is the first time I use this model, and this is the first time I actually, you know, uh, technically I am actually VTubing now, PNG tubing right now. Back when I was streaming, I wasn't actually, you know, uh, a VTuber or a PNG tuber at all because I didn't have a model yet. I wanted to make an actual live 2D model, but it was difficult. Difficult mostly because of financial perspective. But a PNG for the time being, it's still good. I will make the most of it at least. So, where have I been? Well, this entire past year, I have been trying to work out things in my daily life, and I have been trying to, well, learn more and more about, the internet in general. New things come out every day, and it's very difficult to keep up, actually. Very difficult. In the meantime, I have also been studying, voice acting lessons and overall, voice lessons for learning a little bit how to sing and such. Not that I want to become a singer, but mostly because I like karaoke, or at least I want some point to try it out. Other than that, other than that, I also decided that what, I have to start streaming at some point. I have to, because if I don't, I will forever remain with the idea that I will stream, I will do this, I will do that, but yeah, I guess you could say that I had a lot of doubts, and I had a lot of hmm. Uh, overall, I had a lot of a feeling of anxiety, kind of. Actually, in the worst part, became anxiety. In the most part, for the most part, it was just me overthinking stuff constantly. But regardless, I decided, you know what, now or never. With anything I got, with whatever tools I've got, and even now, this is the first time I actually stream on YouTube. This was difficult, simply because, well, I have never actually streamed on YouTube before, despite the fact that I have actually been, on YouTube for years, and I had the feeling that I know how to use YouTube, but I only knew how to use YouTube only when making videos that are basically, pre-recorded, not actually live. So this is my model. My name is actually Alexander Volenstar, or at least the model's name, the character's name. Uh, this is the Devil's Office, and actually, I wanted to make some lore about the character because I actually do have lore, but the problem is I don't like just writing down the lore. I like it. I like it when it's visualized through comic panels, or you know visual novel style, or at the very like at the bestest thing is to have an animation, but animation is tough to make. So the best way I can describe the lore of this character is that, well, he's a devil, simply as that. He lives in a world basically modern, but on the isekai side. Oh, excuse me, that was my pencil. basically on the isekai style, isekai side. Like, imagine a world where basically everything is like current day, but every mythic being is actually a thing. Technically, this character also has owns a club, but you see, I found out that actually having like the club as well, it needs a little bit more planning. So I decided to uh, keep it a little bit on the side, and for the most part, I was like, okay, we will make do with the office for now. I also have different expressions actually. Smile, pissed off. Actually, I actually like this one. Smoking is my favorite. Smoking is the best. I actually will keep this one. And writing. This is also very nice for whenever we want to note down something. And this is how we'll make do with things. It's not good. I do know that this is not good enough. There have been people who had better stats than mine. But you see, the goal of me wanting to be a VTuber, it's almost been like what? Almost 2 years. And I still haven't managed enough. I won't say that it was fear. Like, why wasn't I streaming if I had a model? Well, like the fact that you wanted to prepare more and you wanted to like make sure that things will go smoothly, and it wasn't fear. It was more of a overthinking, doubt, hesitation, probably you could say. You wanted to like try to make the bestest like beginning of them all, and it was impossible. Things will never be good enough, unfortunately. That said, a beginning is a beginning. Most people do not like the beginning. Nobody likes the beginning, actually. For the most part, it's actually the toughest step to make a beginning. And for me, actually, this isn't the first beginning I've been doing. As I said before, I have been streaming before, like a year ago on Twitch, but it was not for me. Like, I feel like YouTube was my place for the most part. So I decided, you know what? Screw Twitch. I will just sit here on YouTube, on my like side, because I feel confident here. Confident enough. Like, I feel like in YouTube I have higher, probability of actually people watching a little bit, even for 30 seconds. Simply because, well, I have gone very used to YouTube, unlike Twitch. Twitch was like an entire, like a new alien planet for me. Now, let me think a little bit more of what I want to express here. Well, for the most part, I was hesitating because I also knew that people will not come to the streams. But I was like, you know what? If I don't start making streams, nobody will ever come. Approximately almost a month ago, I made a clip about Sarwe on a wholesome moment. And I usually do not do clips. I do not. I am not a clipper channel. I do not want to be a clipper channel. I want this channel to be for me. But I also want to share moments that I actually personally like. And this is one of those moments. Like, I just stumbled upon that one stream. I saw this one bit, and I actually liked it. I also participated in it. I also commented. By the way, I realized that the smoke looks like shit because of the green background. Damn. Okay, you know what? In due time, I will fix everything, or at least I will try to make it look as good as possible. Where was I? Ah, yeah. And I clipped that moment, I'm going to upload it on YouTube, and people suddenly like this one clip, like 1 minute clip, became so viral, like thousands of views out of nowhere. People started subscribing for no fucking reason, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? For the first time ever, I was like, my god, this is how it feels like. This is how it feels like to be a content creator. My god. And it was good. It felt good. But then again, it didn't. Because people who came into my channel didn't came to my channel because they wanted to see me. They came to see Sarway. And basically, like, I was piggybacking a little bit on her fame. And this isn't the reason why I did it. And you see, like, we're back on the hesitation, back on the doubt, back on the, what I did was probably wrong. I do not feel it was wrong because I didn't do it with the intention of becoming famous. I believe that this video will not go well. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna upload this one clip, just like that other clip I have of Commander Chaos. By the way, Commander Chaos is actually, graduating in 10 days, and damn, I really like that guy. It's not the end of the world, but for me at least, the VTubing world will be a little bit more emptier without him. He'll probably be around, like commenting here and there. Probably, I hope so at least. But not streaming at all. It's okay. On the one side, it's like, damn. But on the other side, it's probably necessary. Like the same thing I did. I was streaming before. I left for a year. Now I am back. I hope that probably if things turned out well, he'll probably be back as well. Or perhaps things will go even better and he will find something new and interesting to do. It's not about us, it's about the creator, the creators themselves, We do not own the creators. And this is how I want to like build this channel upon. On the positivity of, everybody can be whatever they want, and if they feel like they want to walk out, they can just go ahead and do it. This goes both ways, like both for the creator and for the viewers as well. Like, if you feel like you're not entertained anymore or you're like tired, you can just walk away. Come back if you feel like it later, or don't come back at all. Go find something new. And that's the thing. Like, I uploaded that one clip. I was like, it will not go well. It will probably just be like the other one. Like, it will be like a miracle if it gets like 50 views and it gets so big and people out of nowhere subscribe to me, and like I had like 30, maybe 40 subscribers in this channel, which I have since 2016. Fuck me, I'm old. And suddenly I get like 200 plus subscribers. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe we need to start doing something. Maybe this is the right time, yeah. Maybe this is it. So, regarding the what the hell I have been doing for the past year, I have been working like any other person, like working on a like daily basis on like, a simple job in order to be able to survive. Studying, as I said before, a little bit of voice acting and such. I do not expect myself to become a voice actor. I am learning how to control my voice, mostly because of wanting to do this, So now I feel like I have a little bit of a more clearer voice. Like, compared to these other streams, I actually feel like there is progress here. Like, I was kind of more prepared, even though this preparation took a long, long time. you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to want to like wanting to do something, having all the passion for it. But how to explain this? Like, it's like you're willing to go, but not that far. You get it? Like, that's the thing. Like, when you are about to enter, you suddenly get all this like pent up frustration. Like, suddenly, like somebody hit you with a stress gun or something, and suddenly, like, your heart goes like 1,000 beats, and you're like, nah, it's probably not for me. And you're like, yeah, but it is probably for me. Like, you really want to, and you keep trying, and you're like, things are not good enough. Things are not good enough. Things are not good enough. And you're stuck in this loophole of trying to solve problems that you will never basically solve if you don't just go ahead and do it. You know, it's like live and learn. And in this case, do and learn. Like trial and error kind of thing, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I am now starting out as a PNG tuber, which is fine. It's not what I wanted, but it's fine. It's something that you can make do with it. And I'm like, okay, maybe like I will get to react to this and cringe like everybody who has like had done like a year's worth of work, excuse my shitty English, and I'll be laughing knowing that I got even more, you know, I became better at it more and more. Does it disappoint me that probably nobody watches this? Well, yes, who doesn't? Like, I will not hide. In this case, I will just be, you know what? In this case, I will be like, just make do. Just make do. Like, imagine yourself that you are number one, even though you're probably not. And if you're having like give the confidence that you have, give the confidence to yourself, like have the self-esteem that you are the number one when you go in, but you are humble when you go out. Like, okay, yeah, I do this, so what? And this is like the mentality I want to keep, even if like probably, you know, one day things will turn out better and suddenly I will have enough people, like I will be like also a name in the community. Mostly because you do not do it for the fortune. You do not really do it for the fame either. You do it mostly for feeling proud for something. I at least do it because I want to feel proud for something. And this is like this whole aspect of wanting to like do something just for the sake of doing it because you're passionate about it. You do not do it because they told you to do it. You do not do it because you expect that you will go viral, like you will not go famous and suddenly everybody will like worship you like a god or something. No, this kind of pride is actually bad. You see, it's more like, actually, why the fuck I don't have any music on, and it feels like this room is so fucking cold without some music. Okay, so let me put some music on, because I feel like without music we will it feels more melancholic that it actually is. Give me a second. Where is my music? I do not have any music. I found a nice beat, so I suppose that will do. Actually, up all the way up until this very point, like 2 minutes before the stream, I was actually searching for music, and for the most part, for the most part, it was like this stressful moment, like you're about to go live and you're still not ready. You get me? Like it's like giving a test. Like you go to your school, you have test today, and yet even though you are probably, let's say you are one of those students that actually sat down and read the damn book for like 3-4 hours or so, and you still don't feel ready. This is what it felt like. There we go. Now it feels a little bit better. It feels a little bit more, cheery. So, what the hell am I going to do? I don't want it to be too loud. Okay, thank you. What the hell excuse me. What the hell am I going to do in this channel now? On these streams in general, because I actually, as I said before, I will legitimately give it a try. Like a hard one. Like I'm actually going to do this every Wednesday and Friday for about like an hour or two, just for the sake of like saying that I did something. Well, just like most VTubers, I will be talking like this. I will be... Well, this music does not fit the office now that I see. Well, I wanted to have some kind of music that gives the aspect of the club, so... we're keeping this for now, I guess. I will find better music later on. As I said before, I didn't have time to find good music. But I did like the music I found for the BRB screen. At least that was good. So, just like most VTubers, I will be talking. I will be playing video games. I will be talking about all kinds of matters and, things about life. I personally really like philosophy, so you should expect a lot, like a lot of existential crisis from me. Let me change a little bit the emotions, because I don't want to feel like the model. It's like, it's like not alive. At some point this model will be alive, I'm telling you this. Well, what else? Let me think of something that actually happened throughout all this time I haven't talked about, and I really wanted to talk about. Well, let's talk about gaming, because I'm actually a gamer. What I expect, man? Me gamer. So this programmer me this pro gamer that I am, I play a lot of games, a lot of them. Like, when I say a lot of them, I mean, damn, I have like a library of hundreds of them, and I constantly like play new ones, even though I haven't finished the previous ones. Let me light up a cigarette real quick. I have been playing throughout this entire year, like since last summer, I mean. Genshin Impact, of course. I returned to Genshin Impact just a couple of days ago, and man, this game, I have to be honest with you, I have played a lot of free games, many of them actually. But Genshin is the bestest free game I have played, and I'm actually free to play, by the way, on Genshin Impact. And damn, this game, like, it never stops amazing to amaze me. Like, I am always like so into it. I always like enjoy it, mostly because of the music, the characters. The story, it's nice and all, but the story when it's like on the visual side or the visual novel side, like it doesn't have any voice acting, it's a little bit barren for me, but it's still not bad. Like it's mostly like trying to like save some budget from having the voice actors voice every single thing, you know, and that's understandable. Even though I would love to actually have full-on voice acting on every like mission. And also the world is fantastic. Like sometimes I will just not play, just walk, like have like this walking simulator on this game, like travel, and that alone, it's like something that I enjoy. I actually really love games who have a good aesthetic. One more game I actually played this year and I actually finished and really left an impact on me, it's none other than Red Dead Redemption 2. Damn, like Red Dead Redemption 2, this was the greatest story in a video game I have ever seen. And I, as a writer, like that's a lot for me to say, like, wow, I was amazed by it. The way things like, on the one part, it feels like, on the one side, it feels like it gives you answers, like it gives you like a full-fledged world. But then again, there are these couple of instances, like, let me get in a little bit on a spoiler territory. Not too much. I don't like spoiling video games. Like there are these instances, like somehow, some way, the game actually gets away with not giving you the straight up answer on the most important of information. Like for example, there is this event in Red Dead Redemption called the Blackwater Massacre. This is where the downfall basically started for the Dutch van der Linde gang. And my god, they never show it. You never play as anyone on that day. You know who was there, of course, the Dutch van der Linde gang and that other guy, which I don't remember, Griggs Boston. How were they calling this old guy you meet in the first game, where he teaches John Master how to shoot? Well, you see, they like give you some info, but they're not giving you the straight up answer of what happened in this major moment. And that's like, I as a writer, I was thinking, how the hell did they get away with all that? How the hell did they make a story where they don't actually show you the most important bits? They only show you the characters themselves, like they build upon the characters, and the characters themselves are the story, not the events themselves. Get it? Like it's not the disaster, it's about the person. And that was like the most amazing story I have heard. And like now, some of my stories which I write have shifted on that kind of narrative, or at least I am trying to shift them on that kind of narrative, because you fall in love with a character. You do not give a shit about the world. It's like the first The Last of Us. In the first The Last of Us, you didn't really care. Like, Joel did not care about anybody. And he started to care about Ellie. Well, Joel was the main character and Ellie was the main character, and the story was about them, not about the world itself. And that's what the people loved. And that's what mostly everyone tend to love about a narrative such as this. Like, go in and instead of, wonder the world, you focus on the characters and the character development that follows. And that basically, reflects a little bit on us. Like, what if we are the heroes of our own story? And what kind of development will we have? Actually, I do not know, and I actually want to search this right now if possible. How? Whoa. I have a feeling that I have a feeling that my stream it's a little bit foggy. I just saw that. Yeah, my stream it's not running well. Sorry about that. I don't know how to fix that actually. Perhaps I need better adjustment. I'm not sure. I have my router connected to the PC. Perhaps it's the connection itself that's bad. I'm not sure. So anyway, where was I? The opposite of character development. Like when the character instead of developing to something better, they develop into something bad. Give me 1 second. Decay of personality, basically. Decay of personality, yeah. Deconstruction of identity, degradation of personality. Well, decay of personality. Let's call it decay of personality. Like, yeah, decay of personality. It's actually something that's nice to explain it. Like, this is like the thing. How do you make such an amazing story? Like when you're focused on those who decay in personality, such as Dutch in Red Dead Redemption, and how how other people react and like develop a personality, like Arthur. And that's what I loved about it. The characters themselves. And this is the reflection, like not the reflection, but you could say, let me think, like subconsciously, this is how I see the VTubing community. Like people who basically decided to become their own heroes. And in many ways, some people have a decay of personality because probably, you know, tiredness, fatigue overall, or probably their problems are getting way too big and basically they have to like find some way to comprehend all that. Or they have a character development. They get better. They try to do new things. They fail, they retry, and probably they are making it in the end. Well, let's hope that most of us do. Or at least, let's hope that in one way or another, most of us will actually, not most of us, all of us in this community will become like better and better every day. This is how I reflect things. In one way, like, the VTubing was the greatest thing that could happen. This is something that I wanted since when I was a little kid. I wasn't much of a, famous guy. I was a little bit of a loner, or more, you could say an outsider. And, like any other person who is into, anime and video games and such. So you don't really get to be like the guy who had everything in his youth, like in his very young years. When I say very young, I don't mean like in adulthood kind of young. I'm talking about, when you were not an adult. And I had like this connection with these fantasy characters. Like I had this connection with anything other than the people themselves. Because people in real life are actually way too more complicated. Or they are not as complicated, they are equally complicated. But the people in real life tend to hold grudges, tend to have, like, they don't have like this fairy tale kind of thing. At least back then, it felt like, characters were more like something that you could resonate more because you could see them in a different way. You could see things from their perspective. But this was what I believed until I realized that, no, that's not how things are. when someone sees something from the perspective of a certain person, they are bound in some way to connect with him. I'm talking about a sane person. I'm not talking about like a game like Damn Manhunt or something where you are just like trying to resonate with a killer or some shit. Even though there are some good games out there who have like made you resonate with the bad guys, but still, like you get what I'm trying to say. That you know what, you have to be like more understanding. You have to be a little bit more. Let me check. For how long have I spoken in this cigar? You have to be more open, or not open. Like I'm not the kind of guy who will be like, you know, I am the extrovert. No, fuck no, I'm not the extrovert, man. What the fuck are you talking about? No, I am the kind of guy who likes to see how people react and understand people. What am I getting with this? Well, I'm not actually getting anywhere. I just like, you know, bragging. So that's for excuse me, damn. You see, that's like, this is one thing I want to talk about. The language, like the language. English, it's like a language who's spoken from the tongue. But Greek, it's a language that is spoken from the throat. So basically, when a Greek tries to speak English, they get tongue twisted. When a foreigner, basically Englishman, whatever, try to speak Greek, it sounds like they are trying to choke themselves with the words. And this is why I'm like I'm trying to untangle my tongue. So what other games I've played? Oh yeah, a couple of weeks ago I was playing that one game called Let It Die. Very good game, also a free game by the way. Not as good as Genshin actually. Not because it's not not because it's not actually a good game, but mostly because it doesn't have much story, on my opinion. And I actually prefer games with more story than gameplay. Like, here's the thing, and here's probably something that most people will not be, you know, agree with. Most people will probably not be in agreement with it, is that I love games for the aesthetic and the story, and more like a game like Red Dead Redemption, I would buy it only for the world itself. Like I wouldn't give a shit about the online or about the gameplay. About like just walking and talking, it's something that just fulfills me. It's something that I love. Most people were like, Red Dead Redemption is a game where it's all about animation. Well, yes, in a way it is a game about, you know, with animation, and you constantly like see repetitive animations, but you know, that's the thing, like these kinds of animations and stories and the world in general gives you more immersion, and that's what I love. And overall, like, this is what I actually like in a game. So I was playing Let It Die, and Let It Die, it had a nice world, it had a nice aesthetic, and it was more on the anime side actually. Like the guy, like the mascot, it's called Death Senpai. Not Death Senpai, Uncle Death, excuse me. Uncle Death, and he's the one calling you senpai. And also, like a couple of days ago, they actually released a game which basically more like in the same world a couple of 100 years later, but more like a spin-off, like a battle royale game called Deathverse Let It Die. And I tried it out, and it wasn't actually bad, but since it just came out and it's also a free game, it's kind of barren. Like, it's more like it doesn't have as much customization about, you know, I personally really love customization in video games, and this game doesn't have such much customization. Unlike the original, like Let It Die, which they had so much customization, so much. Like you could go dungeon crawling, find blueprints and then develop the blueprints into equipment, which is also like clothes and weapons and shit. And man, it was so good. Like, I still haven't actually completed this game, but I just said that I actually returned to Genshin, so I see myself to abandon Let It Die for the time being. That's just how I am. I get to play like a specific game for a couple of weeks, and then I move on to the next one, regardless if I have completed it or not, because I always like a little bit of diversity. Yeah. So that's just about my my gaming life. Now, should I talk about a little bit about my actual life, other than the fact that I, worked and studied? Well, mostly I worked. I had to work, and man, it was so difficult. Actually, here's one thing: it was so difficult to find a new job. I'm working on the tourism department, in hotels and such. And it was so difficult throughout these past years, where people like, we had all this tobacco with the, pandemic and all that. It was difficult to return to that job. Because people didn't want anymore, like they didn't need anybody, there was no work. This past year things changed, like for the better. I mean, things started to picking up, and this is what I was trying to do from last year. Like, I was trying to go back to hotels, and I technically went back, but not like a assistant on the reception, as a waiter actually. Which is not actually that bad. It was not that bad at all, actually. It was fun. As fun as a waiter job can get. The fun part was the fact that you could actually speak to people, and that's what I love. Speaking, as you couldn't tell, actually. I haven't shut up this entire time, actually. But this is like what I like to do, like talking to other people, and especially in a hotel, that you get to speak to people from so many walks of life, different ages, different different cultures, different whatever, and you just get to exchange experiences with them, opinions, and basically create more and more, well, not connections, but more and more, you understand people more and more. You get this is what the part that I was enjoying, and this is what I hope to do with the channel as well, to be able to create our own sub-community in the community of VTubers and have fun and spread some positivity, because the world needs positivity. For the most part, it was more of a, I feel like I'm not the one to say this, that we need to spread positivity. Yeah, we can do it. No, I feel like I'm not the kind of guy who should be saying that, mostly because for the most part, I see the glass half empty, and this is the problem. I am not the kind of person who, has a lot of patience, and that's actually a bad thing. I know that for myself. I know that I have that problem, and that's something that I want to fix. I want to have more patience and more, become more direct into solving problems instead of overthinking problems. Instead of overthinking problems, I want to actually start facing these problems and actually try to, develop on that, develop a character on that, go ahead and make a better version of myself. It's difficult for someone to admit their problems and their mistakes in general, and to top it all off, to even be able to change for a little bit, like a little better. But these people who have actually reflect on themselves, they have actually tried to change for the better, and they have actually managed to do it, I have the highest respect for. And this is like something that I also want to manage to do. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And that's the thing, like, you get to be like, why can't I do it? Why am I not good enough? But that's not the case. Like, it's not that you're not good enough. It's that you need a little bit more. You need a little bit more of inspiration, a little bit more patience, in my case. And you're trying to like stick with it. You're willing to go, but not that far. That's not the thing. Like that's not the way to see things. If you're willing to go, you have to go as far as you can. And when I say as far as you can, I mean far. Like, go around the mile, my friend. I'm with you, brother. And that's the thing. Like, you shouldn't be discouraged. Being discouraged is it's the kind of like the kind of killer, basically, of your self-esteem, and that's not something that you should allow to happen. You should actually go ahead and, buckle up, not overthink things, just do them. And this is what most people told me, and this is why I'm doing this right now. As I can see, my stream is shit, but especially my quality. My God, I am hideous. I am like pixels. Damn. Now I feel a little bit discouraged. It doesn't look good at all. But you know what? I will not let it get. You know what? I will be like, okay, I'm sticking with it. I will try my best. Things will not go well, and probably some people out there, because it's not like I do not acknowledge trollers just because I'm saying that we should spread positivity. I know there are people out there who for some reason have made it their life's goal to make other people's lives even more miserable. Do not give a shit about them. If their goal is to make other people's lives more miserable, it's because their lives are already way too miserable, and they will never change it because they do not reflect on themselves. And this is why I say that I have high respect for people who reflect on themselves, because when you reflect on yourself, that means that you are genuinely a good person, that you are actually understanding something that other people who are basically blind and they don't want to see at all, they are just, hey, screw it, I'm just gonna do whatever. Like, I'm just gonna like screw over anybody just because my life is not good. What can you say, man? Things are not well for anyone. Why? Here's a good thing. Here's one thing I want to talk about. Why is my character a devil? Well, basically, the reason why my character is a devil, it's because basically you get to a point where sometimes some people who have good intentions seem as if they have bad intentions. Like this kind of feeling that you're being judged, or either not judged, but people don't see you as a good guy, or perhaps they don't give a shit at all. Like, they don't care, and they do not they do not try to be a little bit more like sympathetic, and that's the reason why I have my character being the devil, because basically a devil is someone who you already think that it's a bad guy. How do you know he's a bad guy just because he's a devil? Did he chose to be a devil? Or perhaps even if he wasn't the devil and he became a devil, if he became a devil, did he really wanted to become a devil, or did he just happen to stumble upon some certain circumstances where he just made some wrong turns, some wrong choices, and he eventually regretted that, but what's done cannot be undone. Like, how many of that you see in actual life itself? In many aspects, VTubing, it's a reflection of reality. In a fantasy story, you see yourself like in like a mirror image of yourself. Like, all these characters you probably have seen in video games or shows or anime or whatever. You get to like the point where you're starting to resonate, not because you like the character, but because you feel like this character, reflects my own mindset, my own life in some way. And in my case, this devil, Alexander, is my reflection. Like when, like someone who is already judged or not, like regardless of what he has done, or whether what he did was actually a good thing or a bad thing, and he was actually a good thing, but he didn't realize it's a bad thing. Like, sometimes mistakes happen. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you might have a character decay, not because you wanted to have a character decay, but because you didn't realize how arrogant you were. And one more thing, actually, regarding my name. The channel says World Collider, but the name of the character itself it's Alexander Follenstar. And that's the case. Like, that's actually something that I want to talk about, because I have seen other people do it, and I really want to express how much of a mistake that is. To make a character, give him a name, and instead of actually having an actual name, they have a title. What I'm trying to say here. So there is a first name, Alexander, there is a surname, Follenstar, and then there is the title, The World Collider. Let's take, for example, who else? Amalie. You probably know Amalie, like that, mommy, the the multiverse monarch. Most people, she has asked people to call her Monarch. Well, Monarch, it's actually a title. It's like calling me a king, for example. Like, it's not an actual name. And that's what I don't like. Like, I'm not saying people shouldn't call her a monarch. For example, if people started calling me, for example, a devil, just devil, or whatever you want to call me, motherfucker, anything, I wouldn't mind. But from my perspective, it's not just the multiverse monarch, it's Amalie, the multiverse monarch. The name is Amalie, the title is the multiverse monarch, and you can either call her Amalie or Monarch. And that's what I actually like. When you keep a name, an actual name, and the title. You have these two things separate. You cannot just have a title as a name. That's ridiculous. It really is. Like, it doesn't give enough. Like, it doesn't give good context, in my opinion. Not to say that actually that is a bad thing if people actually just so happen to, be like, are you shit talking Amalie right now? No, I actually love her for her work and I admire her. Regardless of how she's been a little bit on the screw-up side when it comes to equipment, because I have also seen these clips as well, and on the one side I'm actually feeling okay, I'm feeling a little bit relieved to know that even though there have been people out there who are genuinely professionals, Even they screw up sometimes. In her case, many times. But you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to shit talk. I'm sorry. I do not mean to offend, okay? But I'm trying to explain that, hey, you need a name. Maybe you can give yourself a surname. It's not necessary the surname, but you have to have yourself. You have to give yourself a surname, first name. Sorry, you have to give yourself a first name, and then a title. Because the title, it's like the very definition of how things perceive you. Like, in her case, the Multiverse Monarch. In my case, the World Collider. Like, this has like a distinction. Okay, look, understandable that some people probably do not like to give, like, to, like, okay, let me take a step back. You do not like when people call you by your name? Okay, your full name, understandable. As I said before, that's a surname, it's not necessary. You can hide the surname, but you have to give yourself an actual name, a first name, and then a title. Because the title, it's like the... Let me give you an example. Have you ever played Persona 4 Arena? Persona 4 Arena characters, who are mostly from Persona 4 but also from Persona 3, they have an actual name. For example, the main protagonist of Persona 4 is Yu Narukami. For a joke, in this fighting game, he has a title, who is the sister complex Kingpin of Steel. But that's the title, Kingpin of Steel, and it's badass because it's a fighting game. So you have to see yourself as this kind of like fighter in a way, because you need like a title. Because a title, on my opinion, it's important. Because as I said before, it's the way people perceive you, or at the very least, you're trying to like create this title in order for the people to perceive you in such a way. Like the Multiverse Monarch, the World Collider, it gives you like a powerful, like, you're thinking these sentient beings, like these primordials in a way. And that is like something that you feel kind of proud of as a creator when you do that. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're making a character, you have to give him an actual name. You know, it doesn't really have to be... If you really want to make a deep lore, you don't really have to give like a true name. Like a name like... You have to give a fake... You could give a fake name. Or give an actual name. Like, you give an actual name only if you want to create like some kind of more backstory. Like, why is this character in hiding? But that name has to in some way reflect on that title. For example, why have I picked this character to be called Alexander? Even though he's a devil, Alexander actually means defender of men. Does this get your gears going? Like, yes, I do mean for lore stuff. Like, I'm talking about characters specifically. I don't mean like, no. If you thought I was talking about actual like actual real names, no. And by God, do not share information about, you know, your actual, you know, self, especially on the internet. Because, well, there are a lot of dangers, for starters. I do not need to explain to you what kind of dangers there are when you share private information on people who could basically like abuse it in any kind of way. Especially because you do not know them. When you want to like introduce yourself to someone who you have a genuine trust on, like a colleague or something, which you actually know, like you have been working, for example, together for a while, well, yeah. Of course, sometimes you have to like share some information in order to build trust. But that's upon you how much trust you want to build. I was talking only about characters, fantasy characters specifically, like anything, but fantasy on the fantasy side. Yeah, exactly. Do not dox yourself. What, you actually thought that Alexander Follenstar was actually my real name? Fuck no. The internet has become more and more dangerous throughout the years. Like, it's not just you can just say your full name and you expect that things could not go bad. Things always go bad. But anyway, let's get back to the characters, as I said before. When you're trying to make a character, you always have to give it like a little bit of thought when you give it a name. And that's why, as I said before, Amalie the Multiverse Monarch is the full-on name for me. The same way my character is Alexander the World Collider. And surname is optional. Like, if you actually want to, for example, give yourself a little bit more of if you were to have like documents, for example, I have an office, right? Okay. How the hell did I get this office? Like, how did I made a contract with a landlord to have an office in the first place? Well, I needed a surname in order to sign up. Get it? Like, it depends how much, like, you have to put weight on it. Like, Alexander lives in a society of an isekai society, let's say, a modern isekai society. So he needs a surname, because you cannot really live without having a full-on name. There are many Alexanders out there. Which Alexander are you? Well, Amalie, on the other hand, lore-wise I'm talking right now, Amalie is not living in a society. She probably lives in a castle in Oblivion or some shit. So she doesn't have a landlord, and ultimately she does not live in a society. She's an individual who lives by her own rules and her own, like, she's her own being. She lives free. She doesn't answer to anyone. So she doesn't need a surname, because she doesn't sign up any kind of contract anytime. You see? Wait upon, like, the information you give. And that's a cool thing. Always when you think, like, always, like, every single detail, it's something that it's important. For example, another example, I have a crest. You see this beautiful star in the middle, in my neck. What does that mean? What could it possibly mean? And why do I have it straight up, even though I'm a devil? Should it be upside down? You see, there is lore to that as well. In the smallest of details, there is lore. I also have it. Let me show you something. My full-on model has a tattoo on the right hand. It's a tribal tattoo, but I love to call it the... What was I calling it? It's been so long since I actually created the name and I haven't actually pronounced it back. I actually don't even remember how I was calling the tattoo itself. I have to actually go look back on like 2 years of writing in order to find the name. Okay, screw it. Let's just call it the Symbols of Darkness. For now, I'm not. It was something about darkness. I remember that much, but I cannot remember exactly. I cannot remember exactly how. Which mythology I gravitate towards? Well, you see, I actually really like Greek mythology because I am Greek. But I have actually, in this past couple of years, with God of War and such, I have actually started leaning towards many other mythologies just because I actually started gaining interest from multiple cultures. Like, for example, Persona 4 leans towards Japanese mythology. Persona 3 leans towards Greek mythology and so on. And God of War just moved on to Norse mythology. So I actually like to make a salad of all that. Well, since I'm a devil, this character actually leans toward demonology. Well, basically, there is one thing to explain on this. The ancient Greeks actually worship the 12 gods of Olympus. They actually believed they were real. But you see, once people stopped believing that they were real, basically what was religion became mythology. So if you start perceiving, religion as mythology, you don't feel as bad sometimes to create fiction of it. You get me? Like, you have probably seen The Devil's Advocate, for example. That one movie has some strong ideals when it comes to God and devils and such, but you do not really care because it's fiction. You see it more as a mythology, and this is where my character leans in. It's more of a mythology. That's why he leans more on demonology. It takes the Bible and religion itself, some accounts of religion into account, but ultimately it's not made to make it was not made to create debate on the actual thing. It's more for entertainment. And since I said that this world, it's more of a isekai kind of modern world, it's possible to think that all mythologies are actually kinda canon in the world of Alexander. What? Where did my screen go? Excuse me. Okay, so I wanted to show you the full-on model. Can it capture it? No, it cannot. Why can it not? Oh, it's because it's where is it? Give me one second. Okay, you know what? I'll just open the image itself. Let me give me one sec. Let me open the image in order to show you how the character itself looks like. I have a messy PC. I cannot find anything in this PC. Damn. I need to start throwing whatever it's not necessary and start Which red am I choosing? I'll pick this one. Excuse me, my huge face is on the way. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Jesus. Give me one second. Because the image itself, it's actually of very, very high quality. When it has many many pixels, but here, this is the actual model. This is the model I love the most. Red eyes and the tattoo on the right hand. There is more of this tattoo actually under the sleeve, but this is... Oh, excuse me, I took my desk with me. And my wallet as well. You see? And the shoes. And this is this is like how it was supposed to look. Like at the very least when he's in his devil aura, let's say. And when it comes to like the cigar itself, yeah, you can see like the whole tattoo over here. Do not question why there is two of me on the screen right now. It's not important. There we go. You see? Now, here's something funny. Why do I already have two outfits even though I haven't used any of the models yet? Well, here's the thing. As I said before, I wanted to create the Live 2D model. And the Live 2D model was not easy to make, mostly because of the tattoo. Why? Because you cannot actually have, you know, how do you say it? I cannot remember how it's called in Live 2D. Basically, you cannot create a key point in order to move the arm if you have the tattoo on. So basically, the tattoo was like an artist's nightmare. And my artist was like, hey, if you want, we can just give you like something that has a little bit longer of a sleeve, because we will not be able to make the Live 2D model without hiding the tattoo. And I was like, fine. And now I have like two outfits, but I still don't have a Live 2D model. The reason why we did that it was because we were trying to create the pieces on the Photoshop in order to be able to create the Live 2D. And ironically enough, I personally wanted to create the Live 2D myself. I spent like 20 hours or so learning, seeing tutorials, but ultimately I chickened out of it a little bit. I don't know. I felt like maybe I wasn't ready. You see, hesitation once again, and that's a bad thing. But what can you do? Like maybe one day I will give it a shot. But for now, I'm just sticking to the PNG. And I specifically use this PNG because this outfit, not because it's a bad outfit, but I would have preferred to use the other one with a shirt, the button up shirt. But as you can tell, it wasn't possible because it didn't have a lot of expressions, that other outfit. The first reference was this model, and this is why this model has so many different expressions, as you can see. This one is actually really, really good with a pencil, because you can actually act as if you are like, oh, yeah, I'm taking everything into account, my friend. Don't worry. We'll solve all your problems in no time. Yeah. And that's the thing. The more you're trying to move towards something, you stumble upon something else. And because of that, you're starting to lose track a little bit of what you were trying to do in the first place. And that was the problem with the Live 2D itself. Like at first I wanted to use this outfit as the Live 2D, only to find out that you cannot actually have the tattoo move also with your arm. Like, it's very difficult to animate something like that, especially in Live 2D. So we have to make a new outfit. We made the new outfit, but afterwards I found out that my PC wasn't good enough. Yes, this shit has been haunting me for years. The fact that I wasn't able to afford a good PC. Now I do have a decent PC. And that's why at some point I will go back to Live 2D to try out to maybe make the Live 2D model. But until then, we're just sticking with this PNG. should we return a little bit to more of the mythology stuff? Because I still feel like we'll have a couple of a little bit of more time. Turns out I will not be playing anything. I wanted to play a video game, but now that I think about it, I do not feel like it. I actually didn't find anything decent to play. I feel like for the first stream on YouTube, I will just stay here and talk. So, here's the thing. Why did I choose to make the lore on an isekai kind of world where it's kind of modern? Like, when I say modern, like, I think it's difficult to explain. Think of anime such as BNA, if you have watched it on Netflix, like Bravo New Animal. And if you are a little bit on the edgy side, like me, you probably have watched Monster Musume. But not because... Look. Do not judge the entertainment of another person, because you do not know what actually drives them to watch this kind of shows. I personally like these shows because of the ecosystem. What the hell do I mean by that? Like, imagine if there are actually mythological creatures as a real thing. How would they like try to convert to a society? And that's what I love. Like, there's also the how was it called? Beastars. My god, Beastars was actually really good. I haven't watched the second season, I have watched the first season. And you're thinking, a society where mythological creatures and humanity as a whole can live together. Even though things will, like, shit will hit the fan at some point, but you get the idea. Like, you want to see this kind of ecosystem. Well, yeah, like, isekai, it's a special genre. Like, you always want a little bit more. You always enjoy it, regardless of if, like, certain tropes might get repetitive. Many of isekai works are actually not that completed. Like, you get like a good build-up, only to have this build-up not lead to anything, or it leads to something bad. Like, you don't have like a nice closure to it. But you always want more isekai because you love mythology in general. And this is like exactly how I feel. You've got to you enjoy this mixture of cultures. Like, you've got mythological creatures from Greek mythology, from Japanese mythology, from Norse mythology, and you just add that all into a blender. Like, have you watched Record of Ragnarok? Like, you have like this bout of mortals and gods, like in an arena, and it's so good. And the gods, like, every god is there, like almost every god, at least every important god from every mythology. And I love the fact that the main leader of the gods is actually Zeus. There is also, Odin there as well. There is Shiva from Hindu mythology. And it's like this mixture of cultures, which is what I love a lot. And this is what actually like drives me to create my own scripts in a very similar way. Like, I would love to give some lore of my character, but I feel like, you know what, if I spoil the lore now, I will not be able to make something better later. Like, as I said before, I like to visualize my stories, so I want to wait until I am capable of actually, giving you a visual idea of how things look like and how they are. Because if I was to just tell you, well, one, it will ruin the anticipation. because, well, reading a book, it's not the same as watching a movie. And I personally like to watch a movie instead of reading a book. That's actually preference, you know, it doesn't really... There are other people out there who prefer to, like, read a book. But the problem is, I do not read books. I do not really enjoy what I cannot see or hear. So I'm like, you know what, I'm sticking to the video games and the movies and such, or the comics. Like a comic, it's fine because it gives you at least a visual idea of things. But if I was to have like an entire like novel where I have to write like everything down and in every single detail, it will just, I don't know, it will feel boring. I feel it would feel like I will keep like overthinking what I should be writing. So the closest thing I can give you to the lore of this character and actually being a visual representation of how powerful Alexander is as a character, it's through this one trailer I created through Soul Calibur 6. Actually, I really love the customization of that game. And many characters I have actually written, I have actually visualized through Soul Calibur 6. And my god, it's actually like, it's the closest thing I have managed to do, which was actually like a visual way of storytelling for something that I have written, something that I have made. A visual novel is fine. A visual novel it's actually fine because it gives you something to see, but not a novel. Like, you get it? Like, I don't like just words. I want something for people to see and hear a little bit as well. A visual novel can be all that together. Like, it can give you a picture of things, it can give you voice acting, and it can give you music as well. But just a simple novel, like just going and writing down the story and just throwing it out there, it's something that I just don't like. What can you do? So where was I? I wanted to speak something about, about the trailer. So I made that trailer like a year ago, and that trailer is still relevant actually. Like, I'm still like that character. Like, I'm trying to build the story. And the best way I can give you like a visual representation of how Alexander is as a character, it's through that trailer. I also really love the music I used, even though I'm not sure if that music was actually, it was probably copyrighted, but it wasn't actually, you know, restricted for making videos, I think. It was kind of royalty-free music, I think. And I really liked it. And it was laggy, or not laggy, it was stuck a little bit on certain points, mostly because I had a bad PC, as I told you before. And that PC messed up with my editing software. Like, it couldn't actually pull these simple cuts and pieces I was gluing together, basically. And that was like, on the one hand it was like shit, but on the other hand I did something which was actually which was decent. It wasn't good, I wouldn't call it good, but it was decent for someone to understand a little bit of how things were. And in the description I have actually wrote down a little bit more of a yes, exactly, potato PC. A potato PC is what I had. And I was trying to work on a potato PC. I was streaming on that potato PC and it was lagging as shit, especially on the streaming side. And I didn't have almost anything open. Like, I'm not the kind of guy, I have learned to work on a potato PC. So I'm not the kind of guy who has like 30 tabs open. No, I have only the most necessary tabs open. The most necessary, like everything that is not necessary, I immediately close it because I don't want this PC to slow down at all. I hate it when the PC slows down for any reason. And I made these cuts, I made this editing, and even though it was tiring because the program kinda crashed from time to time, it was still something decent. People could understand what they were watching, and that was good enough. And that's why I actually kept it, and I actually uploaded regardless of what I was like, regardless of if I was going to be making like streams and such, because I wanted to have something out there. I wanted to be like, hey, I had this idea before anyone. Like I was creating something before anyone, because I don't know why, but I have this horrible like feeling that I had this horrible feeling that I am late. I don't know why, but I am always haunted about this one thing, that I am late in some way. Like I feel like if I was to start, like, this is an actual thought I had a couple of weeks ago before I decided to put a program on things and just stop thinking about it. I was thinking, hey, if I start now, by the time I will be somewhere, I will be already too late. I don't know why I have this bad mentality, and this is what I'm trying to fix. So that one trailer was kind of like the aspect of, like, this was like the rebellion of that kind of thinking. I was like, you know what, I will just go ahead, make a video, a trailer. It wasn't much of a trailer, it was something more of a music video of a montage of this character basically playing. Yeah, better late than never. Better late than never. That's true. But sometimes you have like this stress for some reason. Like you want to be a part of something. Like for the longest time, I had the feeling that, you know what, by the time I am a VTuber, VTubing is going to be dead. But that's not true. VTubing has now blown up, and since VTubing is something so huge, so many people talk about it every day. So many people are trying to go in, even though VTubing started to, you know, surface 2 years ago. It's still relative today, and it will stay like this for a couple of more years. I believe we'll probably, if there isn't something better, if there is not something better than VTubing that will come down the line, VTubing is here to stay. But still, I had this feeling that I was late, so I was creating this this lore video, basically this music montage of me playing, basically my character playing my character fighting, basically on this one trailer, which is still up on the channel if you want to watch it. And I had it as proof, basically. It was my soft pillow, like my safety pillow. Like, hey, I had an idea. I was trying to make something. Like, let me give you another example of why I had this kind of anxiety. I'll give you a little bit of the lore of demonology, for example. I'll give it to you because I feel like, you know what, if I do not express it, I will forever like feel like I have something to say, but I am always holding back. But I don't want that. So everybody knows Iron Mouse. Like, if you were to place the top 3, let's say 10. Let's not be like let's not be like too. What is the word I'm trying to look for? Do not try. Let's screw it. Let's just say top 10 VTubers of all time. Iron Mouse. Everybody knows Iron Mouse. Okay? Definitely Iron Mouse, it's up there. For everyone. Everybody knows Iron Mouse, everybody loves Iron Mouse, and everybody expects, not expects, but looks up to her. She's technically Satan, right? She said, like, many people have called her Satan, many people joke about it. But you see, she, like, I have seen some of the VShoujous lore videos, okay? And I was thinking, my god, their lore sounds kinda like mine, and I do not like that. And you know what? Like, this is confession right here. I do not feel proud for that, but in a way, I was kind of jealous that I was late on that aspect. Like, I had the feeling that, if I do not throw out my ideas early, other people will come up with similar ideas somehow, some way, regardless of what they were actually trying to say. Like, my story and their story might have been completely different, but if it had something about like demonology involved, in some way I would have felt like I was ripped off. Like, they without knowing basically stole my script. But no, I actually, after a lot of thinking, I realized that this was just my anxiety in a way, trying to like comprehend the fact that I wasn't actually a part of all of that, and not the fact that they were actually, doing something. Like, it was my fault ultimately that I do not do anything to even try to basically come out there and throw something out there. Like, because the scripts I have written, they have been like in my textbook. Like, I have written down all everything about the scripts of mine all the way back to 2015, 2016, like so long ago. And only now, like this very model right here, which is Alexander, is like a small visual representation of what I am trying to create. And when we talk about demonology, basically let's talk about Iron Mouse's for a second. Like, Iron Mouse's lore I want to talk about. Iron Mouse and Satan. She was shielded for forever or something. She fell from the heavens, and then Booby came to her rescue basically without him knowing, and she stole her powers or something, and basically she was free, and he was turned into this chibi character. And there's like one thing that I didn't like all of that was great, but one thing I did not like, the fact that Booby could not, the fact that he basically conquered all the circles of hell except the first circle, which was basically the easiest circle to conquer, basically. You see, in demonology, in basically everything that is inspired by Dante's Inferno, if you have played also the game, you probably know a summary. There is this game that is basically like looks and plays a lot like God of War, and it's actually a good game, regardless of it being a kind of a ripoff. And in Dante's Inferno there are 9 circles, which in the 9th circle, it's where Satan lives, basically. And it's the coldest of them all. Like, you think hell is a fireplace. No, the 9th circle, like every circle, it's basically a realm of its own. And the 9th circle, it's the coldest one. It's basically Helheim, if you want to talk about a little bit about Norse mythology. Like, it's kind of like Helheim, the 9th circle. So with that being like the foundation of the lore, the fact that every circle has basically a Prince of Darkness. If you do not know the Princess of Darkness, it's basically the reflections of the scenes themselves. And basically every like powerful devil ever, it's a scene of itself, like an embodiment of the scene itself. Okay, for example, if you probably have watched, there is a high probability that if you watch shows on Netflix, you have probably watched Lucifer, right? So Lucifer, it's actually basically the one who rebelled against God, and he actually led the rebellion. Basically, he is like the number one villain, basically, and basically the show Lucifer actually romanticizes it a little bit. Like it's trying to tell the story from his perspective. His sin, Lucifer's sin, is pride. And not only that, but actually sins have colors, right? Well, pride's color is violet. Now, I know it's kinda ridiculous that my shirt is actually violet, but the thing is, I am not Lucifer. Just because I'm a devil, I am not Lucifer. I will give you a hint of who I could be. And I will give you 2 strong hints, okay? Just because I want to throw it out there. Just because I want to have this fulfillment. Remember when I talked to you about colors, right? Well, color plays a huge role into the aspect of basically trying to explain things, like trying to understand things and be a step forward. This color. That's all you're gonna get. Until the day I will actually make something that is kinda like a visual novel, kinda like something that would represent something that is actually, you know, worth presenting. Basically, you're gonna have to wait. There is a whole story. Like, I have made a story to create at least like 2 sequels. I do not know why, but you see, that's the thing. Like, when you keep imagining more and more and more, and you do not actually put anything out there, you're just living in the fantasy without actually, you know, sharing this fantasy. And that's something that I was stuck on for a long time. By the way, I really need to find more music, because I have gone tired of this music by now. We have listened to this track 30,000 times. But you know what? It's better than nothing. Actually, I want to put the other song up. Let me put the other song up, because the other song is kind of a little bit more bombastic, and it's actually kind of fun. It's not as chilly as the one we were just hearing, but hey, it is what it is. It's this music I actually really like. I just found it by accident. I do not want to bother with copyright and shit like that, because I know that YouTube and like tweets and YouTube, and specifically YouTube, has like screwed up so many people in this very recent years, and that's why this song is so good. So I was going like to find music on YouTube Library. So good. Like, this is the kind of music that basically represents Alexander, because I really like rock, you know, and it's really good. It's so good. This chaotic music, it's so good. Man, I'm gonna stop talking and start jamming. Damn, this track is bombastic. I am so glad I found it. I will keep it for a while. I usually want to use it to keep it for, you know, BRB music, BRB screen, for example, and such. I need to expand the library of the music though, because of my music list though, because I will not be able to like keep up with a single song in every stream. I do not like that actually. But you see, like that's the thing. Like you try, you fail, you retry with better things as they come. Like now I did this first stream. And this first stream was actually somewhat of a success. I can't believe that I actually had a couple of viewers today. I really appreciate it, by the way. It actually like feels like people listen. It doesn't really feel lonely, because being alone is torture. But you know, you gotta keep, you gotta keep shouting until people will actually start noticing. Shouting not in a bad way, like do not try to create ruckus for the sake of people just, talking about you. I'm talking about the kind of way, the kind way of creating raising your voice, like trying to resonate. That's what I'm trying to say. So the next time I have to I have to note down a couple of things. Wait, I have to note down a couple of things. First, we need more music. I also believe that I will actually start uploading a little bit of shorts when I get the chance, because I feel like people, especially when they create some sort of like 10-second videos, more people find about you easier instead of just coming into your stream directly, and maybe they will show up. To be completely honest with you, actually, I do not actually look for regulars, because looking for regulars, it's like, especially at this point, it's kind of a big goal, I would say. If people come and go, even if it's for a single, like 30 seconds, come in, say hi, anything, it's something that like really pumps me up, because I feel like, you know what, I am not actually talking into a wall. So more music, shorts, in order to make more of our make our existence known, basically. I do not know if I'm gonna play video games the next time, but I definitely need to search for a couple of good games to play. This song, so good. By the way, if you want to listen to this song on private, I will tell you which one it is called. It's called Mob Battle by Silent Partner. It's so good. Back a year ago, when I was streaming on Twitch, I had other music as well, which I was using on BRB screens and that, like in the waiting screens and all that. A year ago, I was using the Blues Serrano, The Devil You Know, but I was afraid that many people knew this song, like it has like 1 million views, like 2 million views or something, and I was actually afraid that people will actually, I will actually get copyrighted, and I'm like, how the hell did I not get copyrighted for playing this music? I wasn't sure if it was copyrighted or not. I just really like the instrumental and the lyrics, and I was playing that. But now, as I said before, YouTube has been more and more aggressive towards copyright in these years. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go on YouTube music library and I'm just going to search for some good music, and that's where I found Mob Battle. Other than that, our time is almost up. I have been streaming for almost 2 hours. We have 10 more minutes. So, in summary, This is basically the beginning of something new. The beginning of something that I hope it will go well. I will stick to it. I will have patience. I will keep trying. I will just keep coming and going. You know, like on the I have basically this schedule. Wednesdays, Fridays. That's all. For 1 or 2 hours, maybe if I feel like it. Today I felt like it. I'm like, this is the first stream. Let's have like some fun. I'm not getting bored of this music. But I feel like if we listen to it 1,000 times, we will get bored of this music. But still, by the way, let me tell you one more thing. The Office. It's not something that someone drew for me. Can you guess? Like, I used Soul Calibur to create that one trailer. Can you guess from which game this room is made of? I'll give you some time to think about it. It's a game about creating lives, basically. So I sat down and I actually created this office in this game, and I actually really like it. I really like what it came out of, even though it's not perfect. I created this office from Sims 4. To be honest with you, it came out better than I expected. It's not perfect because you can see some it doesn't feel like HD in a way, but then again it doesn't feel really bad either. It feels good enough. And not only that, but it feels like, it feels rich enough. Like in Sims 4, you can find so many amazing, items that I'm like, hell yeah, let's use Sims 4 to create an office. And I use it to create an office, and I used a little bit of Photoshop in order to make this work actually. Like Photoshop, like let me show you. This image. You can see, like, this is the model, and I have cut a second desk from below it in order to make it look like. Good enough though. Good enough. It's fun. It's kind of fun to improvise when you don't actually get to have like a very big budget or very good equipment. But that's how things are, you know. Like when you cannot actually do the standard thing that everybody else does, you have to improvise yourself. And that's why I use video games to like do my presentations and shit. So I want to play video games on my PlayStation because I am more comfortable with the controller. I actually don't own many games on Steam either. So I prefer PlayStation because I have so many games on it. But you see, like, as I said before, the budget, it's a no-go. Like, I found out that capture cards have actually gone more expensive than they were a couple of years ago. To get a capture card in order to, like, stream from PlayStation, my god, you need, like, $200, and I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that, I will do it when I can do it. Which is probably never, but why not? You can't you have to hold on to hope that you will manage. It's not perfect. It will never be perfect. Even though even people who have actually, been doing VTubing for years, they still probably don't feel like things are perfect. I actually bet my ass on that. Like, damn. When you have like so much, basically so much creative freedom, instead of feeling powerful, you suddenly feel powerless. Like, you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do to make things more impressive, more interesting, more engaging? And you come to the point where you feel like, you know what, turns out I cannot do anything. So you just improvise. You just improvise to make whatever works and whatever looks good, like this second desk of mine. Do you like my second desk? I am a man who owns 2 desks. Lucky me. Yeah. Let me light up any other. I have this feeling that things will go well. Things will keep getting better as long as I stick to them. The worst part is when you suddenly feel like you don't actually improve. But that's not true. Every time you do something, you do improve in some way. You just have to keep at it. Like, progress does not come overnight. Like, at least progress where you can notice. Changing PGM, it's probably something that you can do overnight, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, things will look better and better in the long run, not tomorrow, nor the week after, like nor the day after, nor the next week. You have just keep at it. The more you keep at it, the more things will be better. You just have to keep high self-esteem, or at the very least you have to keep yourself in high spirits. And even though that's something that it's not simple, it's something that you have to keep pushing, basically. Keep climbing the mountain, basically. Even if you just so happen to fall at some point. And this is something that I learned from a certain orc. If you're going to fall forward. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So it was fun. Today it was fun. It was particularly fun because people actually, there were people today in the stream. This is the furthest, this is progress. The fact that today I had a couple of people who showed up, said just hi, or just watched for even like 5 minutes. It was something that it made it worth it, It's weird how, on the one side you could say that people are in a way hell, but on the other side people can make the world for you, and I really appreciate it. I would like to call out the names who actually who were today in the stream and actually send a message, like Yoku at first. Thanks a lot, man, for being here. And you, my friend, who has a Japanese name, I'm sorry, but I cannot read Japanese, even though I really want to learn Japanese, and I actually have a Japanese dictionary. How do you... Wait a second. Give me a second. Sosu, my friend, Sosu, thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting with me, even for 5 minutes. You were not here for 5 minutes, actually. You were here longer than that. You actually chatted a lot with me. Thank you so much for actually, being here overall. It was fun. Today it was fun. And let's hope that it will keep getting better and better. I will keep trying. Now, as I said before, Friday at the same time, like 2 p.m. Eastern European Summer Time. Yes, the S does not stand for standard, it stands for summertime. Because at summer and winter we change an hour. It's summertime. And in a couple of months we will change to, not in a couple of months, next month we'll change into winter time. So, again, here in the devil's office, Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern European Summertime. Thank you so much everyone for being here. Truly, it was fun. It truly was. More fun than it was on Twitch, actually, because on Twitch, people just do not come into your stream. But the good thing about me being actually on YouTube is that I actually have some subscribers now because of that one video I made, that one clip. So I am glad. I am honestly glad. So anyway, have a good rest of your day. Have a good evening, morning, whatever it is in your respective country. And as I said again, thank you so much. And let this be a hell of a ride. See ya.